What's up, everybody? Josh or Miho here. I hope everybody's doing good and well and stuff. I got an album review to do for you, and I'm going to be talking to you about the debut album from the band Sadistic Butchering, entitled Sculptor of Flesh. This is released on Inherited Suffering Records. Now, if you're not too familiar with this project, it's based out of Houston, Texas, and the best way to describe the sound of this band would be a very traditional, brutal style of death metal, pretty much in the vein of bands such as Insidious Decrepancy, Blood Soaked, and Putrid Pile. Uh, Sadistic Butchering is the project of a guy by the name of John Hall. Now, if you don't know who John Hall is, he is basically a very hardworking man within the Texas death metal scene. You may best know him for his work as a bassist with the bands Uncleansed and with Viral Load in full band format. Not just Sean Whitaker playing everything, but full out drummer and bassist. Nowadays, he is still continuing to be active within the music scene, not only with just those bands, but with bands such as Cerebral Rot, Mashiach, Desecrate the Faith, both doing guitar and vocal work in their respective styles. And now we move back to Sadistic Butchering. This is his one man project. He plays everything. He does all the instrumentation, the vocals, lyrics, and everything. So this is the debut album from him. It's 8 tracks, and it clocks in at around 31 minutes in length. And pretty much, this is a meat and potatoes type of brutal death metal record. You kind of have an idea of what you're already going to expect, but the way everything is executed and set out, it makes for an incredibly entertaining record, and definitely is a must for fans of Texas death metal or brutal death metal. The guitar work on here is incredibly elaborate. I really enjoy the way that the riffs are being structured and executed here. Take the opening track, The End of the Christian. You get some really tight-knit riff work going on here. I think it's very well played. And that's mainly the story of this album, is the guitar riffs and just the way everything is planned out. Even some of the more slower, heavier, more dominating moments of this album, tracks like Fallout Infected Flesh and Blood Soaked Human Sacrifice, you get some really awesome guitar work going on here. And it isn't anything to be considered, hey, look at me, look what I can do. It doesn't have that kind of value or vibe. It really is a hardworking kind of guitar tone, and it's definitely very well played. There is bass work to be heard on here too, and whatever you do hear out of it, I think it sounds really good. Going back to Fallout Infected Flesh, you do get some really sick bass guitar moments, and basically nothing tries to outduel or outbattle each other with the guitar bass work on here. I think it sounds really nice, and it's very well done here. Moving on to the drums, obvious drum machine is obvious. Again, going back to what most one-man brutal death metal bands like to do, is they like to utilize the drum machine. It can be very hit or miss sometimes. Mainly bands like Insidious Decrepancy or Putrid Pile do that drum machine work very awesomely. And here with Sadistic Butchering, it's done in a very tasteful manner. Very well played, very well planned out, nicely patterned, nicely structured. It's not too distracting or too domineering, but yet I think the drum machine does play a very key part to this album's structure and vibe. I think it's a very nice drum machine performance. I think it's really cool. And of course, we get to the best part of this record, and that is the vocal style. I never knew that John had such a deep, guttural, ugly sounding vocal style, and I think it's incredibly powerful and very well suited for this album style. His vocal style is very guttural. I want to say it reminds me of The Inerrancy of Profanation by Insidious Decrepancy. That's the kind of vibe I get from listening to the vocal style, the second Insidious Decrepancy album. And just a little bit of later Putrid Pile going on with the vocal style. I think it's really awesome. His gutturals are great. You can understand what he's saying. He doesn't try to sound too muffled or 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 to the point where you can't really understand what he's saying. The way he delivers his lyrics sound really good. So overall, very awesome debut album. If, like I said, if you're into Texas death metal, if you're into Devourment or Insidious Decrepancy, or if you're into one man brutal death metal such as that, or Putrid Pile, or Blood Soaked, you'll find something to enjoy with this debut. It's uh it's only making me wonder what's going to be next for this guy, because this guy's got a lot of stuff going on, and I think it's really amazing. So, if I had to pick any favorite tracks, I would definitely have to say The End of the Christian, Fallout Infected Flesh, Zombie Fetus, Blood Soaked Human Sacrifice, and the closing track, Plague Infested Zombie Warfield. The title track is pretty damn awesome too. So I'm going to leave you a link in the description box to the Inherited Suffering Bandcamp where you can stream this album in its entirety, hear it for yourself, and be your own judge as to whether you feel it's deeming of being purchased or not. You can buy it digitally from there. If you choose to, you can buy it from the Inherited Suffering store, or you can wait until it is available commercially through most brutal death metal retailers, preferably Severed or Comatose or any of those kind of things. So keep an eye out for it wherever you're able to see it. So again, the album is Sculptor of Flesh by Sadistic Butchering. This is released on Inherited Suffering Records. Check it out. And as far as the score, I'm going to give this a solid 8 out of 10. Really, really awesome debut, and I'm looking forward to what else John Hall has in store for this project. So support Sadistic Butchering. I'm going to conclude this review. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks for checking out my channel. And until the next time, Army Ho out.